I knew when we moved in, I wanted to have a dedicated theater room. I wanted to be able to have a space that my family could come in and enjoy. In this room, it's a 7.1.4 Dolby Atmos layout. I've got two subwoofers, so some of you may call that a 7.2.4. So the speakers, we've got 7 bed layer speakers. So these are the JTR Noesis 212 HTR. So these are ported, dual 12-inch drivers. Then the center, we've got this big, massive horn. And then inside here, you can see this little point. So that is a compression driver. So the way this system is set up is that actually is 2 speakers in one. It's a tweeter and it's a mid-range driver. And so this is a 3-way design. So you've got the tweeter, mid-range, and then your lower frequencies here. So I'm using identical speakers behind an acoustically transparent screen because I wanted to be able to hear the sound exactly where it's being portrayed on the screen, especially when watching a movie. So we've got identical speakers for the left, got the center channel, and the right speaker. For subwoofers, ideally you want to spread these around your room. If you can do 4 of them, that's great, but as I show you my room, I don't really have room for 4 of them. So I went with dual JTR Captivator RS2s. So these are a sealed cabinet. So these have dual 18-inch drivers, and you see these things are, I mean, they're hard as a rock. Massive, massive surround here. Lots of excursion with this. So this is dual 18s. Inside this cabinet is a 4,000 watt continuous amplifier. So we get lots of power, lots of excursion, and a lot of you have asked me, why didn't I go with the Captivator 4000 ULF? I just love the aesthetics of this, and truthfully, I don't need any more output in this size room. There is way more output than I can possibly utilize in this size room. These are on about a quarter gain, maybe a third gain, and I'm at -7 dB in my trim level in my processor, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So that's my front sound stage. And then for surrounds, as well as my Atmos speakers, my height speakers, we're using 4 for the bed layer. These are JTR Noesis 110 HT SL. So HT is home theater. SL just means slant. So we've got this 45 degree, I think it's 45 degree angle. Again, we've got a coaxial driver. So we've got a tweeter as well as mid-range. And because of its coaxial design, these are time aligned physically. So I went with these for several reasons. Number one, in this room, I needed to mount my speakers higher than what you typically would mount them. Most of the time, these would probably, in a system like this, you might have mounted them about here. That way the rear's got good coverage, the front's got good coverage. In my system, and I'll show you this in a second, the main one that was in the way and kind of determined where these side ones were going to go was the one over there on that double sliding glass door, because I didn't want people to do a face plant when they come in my room. Again, I only have 13 feet wide, don't have a lot of room besides the seats. But I went with 4 of these on the bed layer. So I've got side surrounds, and then we also got rear surrounds. Again, you're looking at my room going, Michael, you mounted these entirely too high. Again, the reason, if you take a look at the front of the, or the rear of the door, I've got a door right there. That's not ideal, but could I have mounted that and secured it to the door? Sure. Would somebody open up my door and smash it against the wall? Absolutely. Didn't want to do that. So again, in my room, I had some compromises. It's not perfect, but it works for me and I love it. So I've got 4 on the bed layer for surrounds, side surrounds and rear surrounds. And then right above us, we've got 4 of the same identical speaker, 110 HT SLs. And so these are angled towards my listening position. So we've got the rears, and then up here in the front, we've got 2 in the front. Again, my room isn't deep enough for me to have a really true ideal setup. And so you'll notice these rear seats are right up against the wall. Not ideal. I just don't have any space. In an ideal room, I would love to have a deeper room. This room is only 19 feet deep. Man, if I had 23 or 25 feet, that would be amazing, but I don't. Did the best with what I could. So on this back row, you're definitely going to get some boominess with the bass, and you're not going to get a whole lot of Atmos and surrounds because Atmos are firing in front of those. Again, this is the primary seating position. So, but honestly, these speakers and subwoofers are my end game speakers and subwoofers. So I've filmed over probably 50 to 75 home theater tours, literally all around the world. I've heard, not every speaker out there, but I've heard a bunch, and I've owned a bunch. And I love what JTR brings to the table with the clarity, dynamics, output, detail, but it doesn't have a bright top end. And then of course the subwoofers, I've measured flat down to 5 hertz in my room. I mean, there's nothing else for me to chase. And that is the biggest reason why we chose, when we launched Obsessed Home Theater, this is my recommendation for dedicated space, dedicated home theater is JTR. That's just what I've come to love. And I've probably heard and experienced maybe 20 different JTR systems, and every single one of them have been different, but every one of them have been absolutely just impressive to me.